Good morning, everybody. How are you? This is Nancy, the Disorderly Stitcher. It is Saturday, May 20th, coming to you live from South Central Pennsylvania. I hope all of you are doing well. It is a beautiful day here, a little overcast, but you know what? It's not pouring down rain, and it's not windy, and it's not wicked hot, and it's not snowing, so I'm counting that as a good day. It's been a little busy here. It's, the last couple weeks of school. I have my kids working on a project and they have a final exam. And, just trying to keep things under control. It was a busy week this week. Thursday was our annual Civil War Day. We have interpreters and reenactors come in and talk to the kids about different aspects of the Civil War. So they get information from someone who interprets the President Lincoln, and we have a artillery battery that comes. And this year they bought a howitzer and they dry fire it. And a friend of mine that does a mourning impression, and the kids learn about mourning in the 1860s. And when you think about it, everybody was in mourning all the time during the war. Civil War dance and dress, which in some ways the dress is one of their favorites, but the dancing not so much because they actually have to dance the old way. Civil War baseball, which is pretty cool, and some other interesting presentations. And I think whether they want to admit it or not, some of them do enjoy it. And unfortunately, others do not, and their behavior gets the best of them. But that's where we are. Yesterday, the PTO took the 8th grade to our local park, which is just right down the street. And they had games and activities, and the kids could play all afternoon. And it was a beautiful day. It was sunny. It was a little breezy, but it was a great day. So this week, we just have to, get some things worked on and wrapped up. And then next week, June 2nd is our last day. So we have 2 weeks. And of course we have Memorial Day in there. So Monday the 29th, we don't have school. So there's only 9 days of school left. Well, 8.5, because the last day is a half day. So yeah, it's amazing how fast time flies. And I think some of the kids are amazed at how time flies. And I think some of them are a little nervous about going to high school. It's a different world. And I really do hope that some of them adjust quickly to behavioral expectations and academic expectations. And I think if they do, they'll have great success. And I only wish them the best. So, with that being said, it's been a slow, stitchy week. Trying to get things graded and caught up and everything. But I did manage to get some in. I did come home early on the 12th. I don't know what was up. I was feeling dizzy and yucky and nauseous. And I came home early on the 12th and I slept for 3 hours. And then slept that night, so something was cooking. But with that being said, here's my book, and you can see that there are some things going on. If I veg out a day, I put it in there because it's what I did. So I don't know if you can see that. Stickered it up a good bit. I don't know why I have the ballerinas in there. I just thought they were pretty. Had a great Mother's Day weekend. I hope all of you mothers did too. My kids were coming up. They asked if they wanted me to have them come up for my birthday at the end of April or Mother's Day, and I said Mother's Day would be great. Don't make 2 trips. And so they said, well, what do you want for Mother's Day, Mom? And I'm like, I don't know. Just come up and see me. Well, then I texted them and I said, I need to proposition my children. And they're like, what do you need? And so on Saturday the 13th, they helped me pack up my classroom. They are putting a new wing on our building. The original part of this building was opened in 1955 and consisted of two small hallways and the gymnasium and the cafeteria and the auditorium. And it has been added on to twice now, once in the late 90s and now. And we're outgrowing it. So the new classrooms, the one main goal of the new wing is to allow 7th grade to have 3 teams. They only have 2 now, which for some of those teachers, they have 30 couple kids in a class, which their rooms aren't designed for that. So it's great to have a forward-thinking school board that is putting this wing on and hiring new staff. In fact, the new 7th grade social studies teacher is one of my former students, which is, kind of cool. So there's a lot of construction going on right outside my window. And the kids have gotten used to the banging and the clanging and the beeping we even have one guy that sings. So, yeah. So we have to pack everything up. And I have to pack everything up because I'm moving rooms. But so what happened was they said, yeah, sure, Mom, we'll come up. So I went in on Saturday morning early and started going through stuff. I still had my language arts stuff from when I taught language arts 6 years ago. I think it was 6 years ago. And needless to say, I filled up, I don't fill them up, but, about halfway, 4 garbage bags, huge garbage bags, and 4 bags for recycling. And most of my stuff is packed and labeled. But I still have stuff on my desk and stuff that the kids are using for projects and all my, tape, pencil, pen, whatever supplies in a couple drawers. But after that, I'm pretty much done. So, the weekend of June 3rd, 4th is the last time I'm going to be able to get in my room until they're done. And the target date is for them to be done August 12th. So they're also putting on an extension on the cafeteria because the cafeteria is maxed out. So, yeah, it's a busy time at our school. So, with that being said, what have I done Stitchy-wise? I think I told you last week that I was working on a quilt and the Sparkle Star quilt, and I am pretty much caught up with all of the blocks. I have about 20 squares to do. And I'm hoping to get those finished, the white put on those blocks this weekend so that I can start assembling the quilt and get that done. I like to try and get one quilt done a year. I've been working on some stitching and I've been working on making floss drops for myself and floss bling. I got brave, branched out a little bit. And I organized a little bit. I went through all of my whips and wrote them down. I took all of the ones that I had kitted and hadn't started and put them in one basket and put my whips in another. This is baby steps, people. Baby steps. All right. So, where should we start? Well, let's talk about the floss bling because it's sitting here in front of me. There is a great tutorial on how to do this from Michelle at Mama Loves You GB. And honestly, there's only one thing that I would do differently than she does. She recommends using Gorilla Glue in a little bottle with a brush. Well, the thing about Gorilla Glue is that if you don't use it right away, it gets really thick. And I have been told that if you use it and then put the lid on it, it gets really thick. So needless to say, I had purchased my Gorilla Glue ages ago, and I couldn't use it. So there went a brand new bottle of Gorilla Glue, never busted open. So I thought, okay, how am I going to do this? So I took Aleene's Tacky Glue. I was also told this might work. And I have to come up with some kind of cap. But anyway. All right. and I keep it in an old peanut butter jar upside down. I got that trick from either Vanna Pfeiffer or Helen D. And I used a small foam brush. This is not the one I used, but put some glue out on a little, paper plate or something, and just brush the back of the paper and the back of the glass. And this is what I thought, I want to do something uniquely Pennsylvanian. So I looked online and I looked up Pennsylvania Hex Signs. Now, Hex Signs are a Pennsylvania German cultural tradition, I guess. I don't know all the meaning behind everything. And I am not a native Pennsylvanian, but I have learned to appreciate much of it from my native Pennsylvania German ancestral husband. So I printed off distelfinks. Granted, this is the first time I've done this. I don't think it turned out too bad. So, I bought some 80-pound weight paper, and that was a recommendation from Chris, the camping stitcher. And I printed them off, and I, painted the back of the glass, and I painted the paper, the back of the paper, I painted the back of the glass with the glue. Now, you don't need a lot. And then I stuck it on top of the picture and positioned it where I want it. And it does dry clear. All right. So then when that was dry, I painted the back of the paper that was on, or I painted the back of the paper that was now stuck to the glass, and I pushed it down into the base. And I let that dry. And then I purchased some rings. And I also have some jump rings that are coming. And again, Chris the Camping Stitcher recommended that I get the jump rings that, maybe I can show you with the one she gave me. Where'd it go? See, back to being disorderly. Anyway. I can't find it. Okay, it's in there somewhere. But anyway, the jump rings do look like this, that have where you can open a little bit and slide something in, instead of getting the ones that meet up exactly. Because if you don't get that end exactly right, it's going to open up and you're going to lose something. So with those, I'm going to attach these tiny little hearts, and I'm hoping you can see them because I don't want to take them out of the bag. But they say made with love. And then what you do is you take your big ring. I'll get one out of my drawer. These were some things I brought home from school because I had a bunch of things on rings, so now I have rings. So you take your ring for your floss drops and you put that on, and it just makes it pretty. And then you could load your floss drops. Some people load them numerically if it's DMC. Some people load them alphabetically. Some people load them, like if you have a bunch of weeks in one design, you load them alphabetically. And then if you have color and cotton or whatever, and classic color works, whatever. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So that's one thing I did. So I'm kind of proud of that. Branching out into my craftiness. And the shapes, you can get these in many different shapes. I also have, I hope you can see through the plastic, I also have some ovals that I want to do. And I have, hope you can see this, some rectangles that I want to do. And I got all these from where else but Amazon. And so, these are the little glass pieces. And these are the little backs. So yeah, I'm pumped. I want to do some of that. You know, and how big a ring you use for your floss drops is really determined by the number of flosses. So for example, these really big rings I have used for like Hawthorne Hollow, because they have a crap ton of flosses. And crap ton is a term that I got from one of my kids. So there you go. Sorry for the rattling. But that's been one of my adventures this week, past couple weeks, and I am pumped. Pumped. The biggest hurdle is trying to get the right size for your picture. I did print one and it was a little big, and I shrunk it and it worked, but there's actually supposed to be a red like border around that, and I didn't want to keep wasting paper and ink, so I was good with that. I like it. So those are distelfink, and I believe I looked this up, and distelfink just means goldfinch. And this isn't very gold, but it works. So that might be something I get into in the future when I retire. Who knows? I do have an Etsy shop that I created 10 years ago and never did anything with. And I debate, you know, because then you have to get into the filing your taxes quarterly and all that other good stuff. But who knows? Maybe I'll do it. We'll just have to wait and see. So that's been one adventure. You know, I feel like I'm in up. Adventures out there. So what else have I been doing? I mentioned that I started cataloging my whips. So I had purchased some paper with some organization. What do you call them? Forms, PDFs, whatever, from the Naptime Stitcher on Etsy. And one of the ones that I got was a whip tracker. So I printed a couple of those off, and I'll show you my whips in a minute. And then she also has one that is a cross-stitch floss inventory. I'm not sure I'm going to use this because that would be a lot of writing right now, and most of what I have is cataloged in my Google Drive on a Google Sheet, which I can access from my phone. So there's that. And I did print quite a few of those. I mean, if I do, who knows? Maybe I will. And then the nice thing about this is that it says in kit, you know, and if it's in a kit, that's great. I also printed off the pattern inventory. Again, not too sure I'm going to use it because it, you know, I have some of them on my phone, and it's a 2-page thing, which I did not realize, but like, so the first page you have the designer name, but then the second page you don't. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. And then there was a fabric inventory sheet. Again, I should just do this on my Google Drive, but you know, who knows? Who knows? Don't know what I'm going to do. So, yeah, when it comes to my whips, I took a lot of the pages out of here because I wasn't using this as a day-to-day planner. Because I keep my calendar on my phone. I'm so 21st century. So here's my whip tracker. I'm ashamed to say it. One of these days I'll do a whip parade. If you really want to see it. If you really want a whip parade, I'll do it. It's not very exciting. So I have the one page, and That's it. I only have 1 page of whips. Yes. I also printed a kitted project tracker. The cool thing about this is that I can write down which bag it's in. So I can look at that. I made that. That was for me. So I made that. And I took the basic idea off of Naptime Stitcher. So thank you very much for the inspiration. But other than that, yeah. I also found my friend Chris, the camping stitcher, has introduced me to Vicki Clayton silks. And I purchased some, God knows what for. Oh, I know what it was for. And anyway, I was like, okay, is there a conversion list from DMC to Vicki Clayton silks? And lo and behold, Vicki has one. So if you are into Vicki Clayton silks or you want to try them, you can find this on her webpage. Just Google Vicki Clayton, and they come on little tiny spools. And Chris says they are wonderful. I haven't used mine yet, so I'm anxious to try. And Vicki apparently will also, like, if you have a chart and you would like to try to get a conversion to her silks, from what I understand, you can email her, and if she is willing to or able to, she will give it a shot. So there you go. But now that I have this, maybe I can do it. The other thing is WhipGo. Yeah, I'm not doing well with that. I have changed my board, I don't know how many times, to suit my mood and what I'm stitching. Numbers 23 and 25 were called, and for May, and I moved everything around because some of the things on my board were kitted but not started, which is the antithesis of WhipGo. So number 23, I put in my temp tree, which I do 2 or 3 times a month. And for 25, I haven't decided what it's going to be yet. Which sort of, again, is the antithesis of WhipGo. But anyway, there it is. I'm trying. But, you know, my board, my rules, right? Right. So, there's that. I also purchased a new punch. Where'd it go? I purchased a new punch for floss drops. God help me if I know where anything is. That's why I'm disorderly, people. Anyway, purchased a new punch, and it's shaped like this. I had purchased one, a Fiskars, from Amazon, and I was like, why isn't this working? Well, it turns out that when I got it, the package was all torn up. It was like it had been opened. I was like, well, this isn't good. But I tried it anyway, and it turns out the blade and the base were not lined up correctly. So I returned it, and I purchased another one. But yeah, I'm kind of pumped. So I bought a pad of heavier scrapbook paper. And so now I can make pretty little floss drops. And I got, I don't know how many are in here, about a dozen. And then the way there was leftover paper, I also got some that the diamonds went vertically, but, you know, I don't care. So I played with that. And let's talk about whips. So, this is my state and territory stamp bag. And this houses my temperature tree. and I got April. I lost the website I was using on my phone. Went into panic mode, but then I found it again. Um, April warmed up. In fact, we had 3 days that were like high 80s, low 90s. And then, of course, April cooled down again. May is trying to warm up. So there it is. Hope you can see that. Um, I have to catch up a little with May. And my June branch is done, so I need to work on some more branches. I need to finish July, August, September, and October. And then, of course, November and December are done. I'm debating whether or not to put a color chart on the side of the tree. I've seen people do that so that you can see what the colors mean, like what temperature range they are. But I haven't decided if I'm going to do that. But, you know, the colors of my, sorry, I have my bungee cords, but there's the colors. They are all DMC. So there's that. So that gets pulled out a couple times a month. And I play catch up. I was working on a type of Christmas, and I laid the... Here it is. Oh, before I show you that. This is the chart I made for my temps. Because I was like, I got to write these things down somewhere in case I don't get them done right away. Because I know I'm not going to lift this thing up every day. Okay? So I am recording the temperature, the daily average daily high out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, at the airport, because it's close enough. It's only about 45 minutes away, and I honestly don't know if I could find accurate temperature records for Shippensburg. So yeah, so that's what I do. And you know, hey, this is something I designed. It's on a Google Doc. And if anybody would like it, I will gladly share it with you. You know, it's just 12 tables. And I have 4 tables, or 5 tables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 tables on a sheet, so you need 2 sheets. Right? Well, no, there's 1, 2, 3, 3 months, so you need 4. Because I have 2 tables for each month. You can see that. So like there's April 1 through, I think it's 20 or 19, and then April 20 through 30. So there's plenty of space. Okay. So if anybody wants that, drop me an email. I will be glad to share it. You have to be able to access the Google link. That's what I will put in there. In fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll just link it down there and make it shareable. All right. So that's a possibility if you would like to do that. And there's many different temperature cross stitch patterns. There's the tree. I know that Pam at Stitching in the Land of Good Enough is doing one that actually looks like calendar pages. That's kind of cool. The new one this year that some people are doing is a Quaker pattern. I know that Jamie and Terry at Cornhusker State Stitchers are doing Quaker. So, you know, it's whatever floats your boat. Yeah. But, you know, it's going to be a year-long thing. And if I do one next year, I will do it on a different fabric. I just grabbed a piece of white Aida that I had. Nothing fancy, but just a little bit different. I don't know how I'm going to finish that. It could be a pillow, it could be framed, it could be a flat. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. All right, so back to the next one. This is a type of Christmas by Erin Elizabeth. She is from Canada. She is a sweetheart. If you ever have a chance to watch her Flosstube, please do so. So I love the colors in this. I love the variegated on the joy. So the last time I think I showed this was a while ago. I only had part of the border done in the red and the green, and I had up to the snow globe, and I had believe, and I had, I don't know what I had. I think I might have had a couple snowflakes in there. So, you know, maybe I'll put this on my, and it's still in the frame. How about that? So this is where I am. Sorry, it's a big piece. I didn't cut it. So that's where I am. I got the word holly done, and I started the hat. I got the snowflakes done, and put the white in the border. I think for the rest of the border, though, I'm going to do the white first and then the red. Simply because the red threads tend to poke through a little bit with the white. And my Y is off 1 stitch. But you know what? Who's going to know that? Except every one of you that watch this and me. Right? So, I'm pumped. I think it's pretty. I have no idea what I'm doing this on. It is an unknown piece of fabric that I grabbed from my stash. But anyway, I like it. And these are they're all DMC again. And this is one of the first ones I started when I started floss dropping my threads, and I was cutting them 18-inch lengths. And now I've gone down to, or whatever that is, yard lengths, and now I'm going down to this. I like working with the smaller length, the shorter length, simply because it doesn't twist up and knot as much. So yeah, I'm getting thread out more often, but you know what? I'd rather do that than deal with knotting and twisting all the time. And I'm doing, this one's stored in my bee bag, my honeybee bag from Black Cat Stitchery that I got earlier this year. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So that's that. The other one I have been working on is Map of Hawthorne Hollow. I am in a Hawthorne Hollow group that stitches, Zoom stitches once a month, I should say. Chris the camping stitcher and I, well, Chris is very motivational, if you haven't figured that out yet. In other words, enabler. So, you know, she's like, I want to start that, or she had started it. I don't remember. So that's the map. And I started up at the top, and I'm doing it on Autumn Gold, which is the called for. So I have, let's fold this up. I have big piece again. I'll cut it if I need to. I'm not going to cut it now. I'd rather deal with it big and then cut it. So started the border, got a little bit done and a little bit of the wing, and I started working on, if you can see them, I don't know if you can, the feathers. I'm doing the light first. So yeah, I am traveling. I know some people have a fit about traveling, but you know, by the time it's light enough that I know it won't show. Can you see it? Yeah. But you know, it's light enough that it won't show, and my rules, right? And they're not traveling too far. So, you know, I put these on, this is the colors. There's a couple that are probably missing because I didn't have them at the time, but they're all DMC. They're really showing up today. Maybe I should start filming during the day. But they're Budamus. They're on my floss drops. And there you go. I got these I made these floss drops through Vistaprint. So, where's my paper? So there's that. So I did work on that a little bit. And some people would say that's not a chart you work on when you're zooming or at a retreat. I didn't do too bad. All right, the next one I worked on Maker and Mender a little bit. Pulled it out just because it was sitting on top of the basket. This is by Brenda Gervais. A bunch of us that were at the Jingle Ball last year, somebody said, hey, I'm working on that, and we all jumped on the bandwagon. Of course, my bandwagon stalled out because that's just the way I am. But I had, before I picked it up this time, I had some of these words done in the first 2 rows. I had this done, and I had the bird done, and I think this branch done. So I picked it up, and basically what I got done was a few letters on the 3rd row. Again, I am traveling where I can between the letters because, again, my stitch, my rules. I'm one of those that I don't like particularly to have to play catch the tail. And with single threads, you have to play catch the tail. So anyway, this has Weeks, Classic Colorworks, and a couple DMC. So I'm still working on the organization a little bit. But yeah, I'm liking it. Very subtle. So again, that's from Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. Yeah, I'm excited. And I keep this one in a bag I bought from Goose. I don't know why. You know, I'm not a person that jumps on everything that, you know, ooh, isn't that pretty? But I do like the little red truck. So the little red truck is inside, you know, and the little red mailboxes. I miss mailboxes. Anybody else miss mailboxes? Mailboxes and payphones. I mean, you know, we grew up in a great era, simplicity. Anyway, so yeah. And the last one I keep in this pretty bag that I was in a bag exchange with, I can't remember her first name, and I am so sorry, but it is from OG Stitchery, and she's a sweetheart. So we did a bag exchange, and she was very, very patient with me to get mine done. And so again, Chris, the camping stitcher, showed me this, and I was like, oh yeah, I like that one. So this is A Stitcher's Garden by Tiny Modernist, and I got this from Primrose Cottage Stitches, their shop on Etsy, and they had done, I believe along with Holly Jones, Mrs. Jones Stitches, a conversion to color and cotton. Now I am in the color and cotton thread club, but you know, I've never used it. And I'm looking to find a color and cotton conversion from DMC, and they do have a few of them converted, but not a lot. So there we go. Whoops. Budamus colors. And this is how far I am. Now, I don't know where my brain was when I decided to start and or measure and or cut. But I am much further over on the right side than I am on the left. So it's going to be a squeeze. And I'm a little worried about top to bottom. But doing my math, it says it's only like 4 inches tall. So I'm hoping it fits. But I cut my square 10 by 10. And I should have not started 2 inches over. But with that being said, and I do apologize, it's still in the frame, in the hoop, but there you go. I love the ruler. The white is a little light, but I think once it's done, it'll be okay. You can see it in person more than you can see it on the screen. So, yeah. Stitcher's Garden by Tiny Modernist. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So those, my friends, are what I have been working on. A little bit more organized with that than I was the last time that I talked to you. You know, I figure if I put in a thread a day, I'm doing good. And I'm hoping that this summer allows me to get a little more done, sewing wise and quilting wise and stitchy wise. So, you know, I have so much fabric I want to make project bags out of. I've thought about selling them actually, and I don't know. You know, it's like so many people are making project bags. You know, what makes you buy one project bag? That's a good question. What makes you buy a project bag from one person over another? Is it the fabric choice? Is it the size? Is it the style? Do you prefer full cloth? Do you like the full cloth floppy? Do you like the full cloth stiffer? Do you... Oh, hello, ant. There's an ant on my floor. Excuse me. Hold, please. Got it. Because if I don't get it, the cat will get it, and then she'll kill it, and she won't do anything with it. Do you prefer vinyl thread? Do you like them really stiff, or do you like them a little pliable? All right. So that's a good question. What do you like? Why do you buy the project bags you do, if you buy them? Yeah. That's a good one. So what else have I been up to? Of course I've been up to haul, people. It's me. And I got... hold please. I decided I needed something to put stuff in. Yeah. So I don't know if I showed you this, but it came, and I can't remember which one I showed you. So this is Big City Christmas, the restaurant. Did I show you this last week? I have not started any of these yet. So that's in a thing from Fat Quarter Shop. I got a piece, sorry for the rattling, from my Stitch Me Fabric Club, Fabric Neutral of the Month. I get 36 count. I get a half yard. It's called Grog. It's really kind of cool. I haven't taken it out of the plastic yet, obviously. I got an email from Silver Needle saying that my order was on the way. And I'm like, what? What order? Forgot. So, happy mail surprise for me. I got, I think what turned me on in this was the moth right in the middle. But I got the Blue Flower Huckleberry Farm. So, and the house up there, really, I love yellow houses. Which is weird because I never thought of myself as a yellow person. And I got this, I got because I love the way Missy from Two Needles Pulling Thread. Hers is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The color of winter. And Missy usually, well not usually, but she likes to convert to color and cotton. And I asked her and she didn't. So she's using the called for Weeks Gentle Arts and Classic Colorworks. But yeah, hers is beautiful. So I got that one. And I got Erica Michaels Random Threads. Again, these might be market releases. I don't know. But you know, I thought that would be a quick little stitch to hang in my sewing room. She has an alternative. This is browns on like a gauze, I think. Yeah, silk gauze. And then on the back, she has it in red. Well, you know, yeah, red is a strong possibility. And I also got Christy Barron 1832 from Erica Michaels. Love the border. That border is going to be a bear. But you know what? If I can survive Antong, I can survive anything. Right? We're going to think positive. Oh, here's my new punch. I put it in haul. So yeah, it's a Bira. I don't know. But, you know, it has the little plastic thing on the bottom to catch your pieces. And so far, so good. But like when I had the Fiskars, it would go down so far and then it would stop because the blade was hitting the frame. So yeah, this is my new friend. I bought some more round cabochon pieces because, you know, I'm into that now. God help me when I die. My kids are going to be so overwhelmed. I got a new piece of Color and Cotton. I'm in the Color and Cotton Fabric Club, the neutrals. This is Tumbleweed. Tumble and Tumbleweed. Anybody remember that song? Before my time, but I remember it. So it's sort of a taupey color. Nice neutral. I need to find a place to put all this. And like I said, I'm in the Color and Cotton Thread Club. I'm in the All Colors Club, and I am in the neutral. And honestly, I don't know which one's which, but we're just going to go with it. So again, I haven't taken these out of the plastic. I guess I could do that for you because you're all my friends, and why not? Sharing is caring. So this is part of the All Colors. This is brown. It's showing up purple, but it's brown. So I have Acadia. Never been there. That's one of the places I would like to go. Smoky Mountains. Driven down through them. Liberty. It's like a olivey green, showing up gray. Hidden Lake, which is like a tealy blue. And Sky Blue, which is a really light blue. And then I have White Sands, which is like a eggshell type color, I would say. Rushmore, which is a gray. I haven't been to Rushmore in 45 years. Union Blue. Golden Gate, which is like a deep claret red. And Joshua Tree, which is like a deep greenish gray, a gray base. So yeah, I'm looking forward to using more of those. And then, save those a minute. Does anybody else save these little plastic bags? I have like a whole bag of bags. I don't know why, but I do. And then I have, I think it's a Memorial Day theme, which I really appreciate because I was pumped to get these red, white, and blue colors. This is Memorial. It's like a very, 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 very pale bluish white. So there's that one, and Yosemite, which is a grayish color. Old Glory, blue. This is why I don't like to use my computer. Valor Red. And Shining Sea. So yeah, it was great. They're great. They're the best. I have to start cataloging these in my spreadsheet. I got some more of these bungee cord things. I love to use them when I have things in my frame, my hoops that are really, really, the pieces are big and I need to roll them up. So I like these with my Nerd hoops better than the round clippy things that fit better on the Q-snaps. I sold my Q-snaps to a friend of mine. I don't know why, but this was on the stash unloading, and you know, they're beautiful. And who knows, maybe one of these days I'll do a Hawthorne Hollow or some fall thing, but I jumped on these. Somebody was selling these 103s, and I bought them. They're Budamus. Fall is like my favorite season. I don't know why. And I got the July month to month. It's the last month to month in the series. I haven't even started the first one yet. Well, I did. I started August. Did not get very far. But there's the July month to month. So I don't know if I'm going to jump on another bandwagon month to month thing or series thing because I don't stitch what I have. I fell in love with this Teresa Kogut material and or fabric, and I went on Etsy, or I went to Happy Little Stitch Shop, and I'm going to make a project bag. I don't know how, or I don't know which kind, if it's going to be full cloth or it's going to be vinyl. The nice thing about the vinyl is you can see both fabrics, but sorry about the bump. So I got, I think, a yard of each. So it's either a yard or half a yard. I usually buy, if I find two fabrics that go together and I think they'll make a cute project bag, I buy a half a yard. I think these are yards. So I can get 2 project bags out of a half a yard, I think. And yeah, I'm kind of pumped about that. This reminds me of Teresa Kogut's design. Remind me of, you know, like very colonial New England type things. A lot of things that my mom was into and I grew up with. So yeah. And I had also forgot I had purchased this, and I have it all. I have the fabric for it because, you know, I had to buy the fabric for it. So this is Summer Quaker by Lila or Lila. I don't know who pronounces it which way. By Lila's Studio, and she has all called for DMC, which is kind of cool. But let me take it out of here. And I had forgotten I had ordered this, and I had it on my wish list somewhere else, and I'm glad I didn't buy it again. But yeah, it's kind of weird because I'm drawn to the tall ships and the seashore type of little town and the lighthouse, but I'm not a beach person. I think I would be more apt to live like up in Maine or New Hampshire on the coast than I would be at North Carolina or someplace like that. I like the beach. I like walking on the beach. I like watching the waves and hearing the waves, but I don't like the heat. And I don't like the sand on my feet or stuck somewhere. I don't know. I'm weird. Do I have a phobia about the ocean? Yeah. My brother got bitten by a crab when we went to North Carolina when I was little. I was 3, and that freaked me out. And then, of course, Jaws didn't help. So anyway, that's Summer Quaker. And, you know, it called for Fiber on a Whim latte. So my oldest daughter, gave me a gift certificate for 123 Stitch. So I bought the latte, which is a little goldenish tan. Okay. So that's for that. And since no purchase can travel alone, oh my God, I bought the houses at Hawthorne Hollow. I am a glutton for punishment, people. And I bought the Shores. And again, look it, there it is, the tall ship with the more New Englandy type house in the picture. You know, that's crazy, but that's what I like. Now I'm sure Missy's watching this and saying, "Move to Maine, move to Maine." Yeah, yeah. Get the man to move to Maine. All right. And then last thing I got, I am not a big scissor fob person. I don't know what I'll do with this, but I fell in love with it when I saw it. It's from Lady Dot Creates, and it's a Arctic Antics scissor fob, and I just bought it because of the penguin. Where's the penguin? Where is he? There he is. And a polar bear, and a whale, and a snowflake, and I just thought that was so pretty. Another thing is that I want to try to make these. So I sort of use them as a guide, like, okay, what do I put where? You know, how do I put these little rings together and things like that? So, yeah. So those are my purchases. So what are my plans? My plans for the next 2 weeks are to survive the last 2 weeks of school, to put a few stitches in here and there, and yeah, get ready for the summer. I do have to start thinking about StitchCon because I leave for StitchCon on the 14th of June. I think it's the 14th of June, 13th or 14th, and I'm driving. So it'll be partly turnpike. Hope to God it doesn't pour down rain like it did the last time. And then I think probably 70 over to Columbus or Cincinnati. Anyway, we used to drive this way when we'd go to Louisville from Severna Park, Maryland, and we would drive over 70, 270 or whatever, and then I know we went to Breezewood for something, and then for some reason we'd always go to Columbus because my father's aunt lived in Columbus, so we'd always go see Aunt Bertie, and then we'd drive down to Cincinnati and go over the river to Louisville. But I have never been to Cincinnati, so this will be an experience. I'm kind of looking forward to it because I haven't had spaghetti in my chili in 40 years, 45 years, longer than that. I mean, my parents divorced when I was 14. So, yeah. And I grew up with spaghetti in my chili. You know, beans and beef and spices and spaghetti. So, from what I understand, that's a Cincinnati thing. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I'm hoping I can find spaghetti in my chili. Yeah, isn't that weird? Childhood memories. So, I think that's it. Yeah, I do believe that's it. So, I hope, look at this, it's almost an hour. That amazes me. And I do apologize for that. I know some people don't like to sit through hour-long videos. I can't sit through much more than an hour and 15, but that's time schedule. That's more time, my time, than anything. But with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful next couple of weeks. I probably will not try to do this until school's out again. So, you know, get some stitching done. Enjoy what you stitch. If you're a quilter, you know, get some piecing done. Enjoying what you piece. And have a wonderful end of May, beginning of June. And we will see you all later. Take care. Bye-bye.